There's something unfolding in your life right now, and most people will walk straight past it. They've spent years learning to scan for change in all the wrong places, waiting for transformation to arrive with fanfare and clear directions. You're here because the timing has aligned. These words are landing in front of you at this precise moment because something beneath the surface of your conscious awareness has already begun moving. The universe operates outside human scheduling. Messages don't arrive when you feel prepared. They arrive when your frequency matches what needs to be received, whether you recognize that alignment or not. Most people assume they'll get multiple chances to catch the same truth. They treat profound information like reruns, available whenever they're finally ready to pay attention. That's not how consciousness works. Certain revelations can only be absorbed when your awareness has reached a specific threshold. Once that threshold opens, the window doesn't linger indefinitely waiting for you to decide if you're interested. Consider the last time your entire perspective shifted in an instant. Those moments when something that lived right in front of you suddenly became visible, and you wondered how years passed without seeing it. That wasn't stupidity or blindness. That was your awareness arriving at the exact coordinates where the information could actually penetrate. Earlier, and it would have slid past you completely. Later, and the opportunity would have dissolved. You're standing in one of those windows right now. The restlessness that's been building lately, the sense that something fundamental needs to shift without being able to name what. That quiet dissatisfaction with things that used to feel adequate. The way certain conversations drain you now. The way established patterns feel like they're suffocating something essential. All of this signals your consciousness preparing for what's about to surface. People spend entire lifetimes waiting for the perfect moment to act. They wait for Monday, for January 1st, for more money, more time, more certainty. The universe doesn't accommodate your preference for convenience. Opportunities show up in the middle of chaos, in the gaps between what you planned and what's actually unfolding. If you're scanning for change to arrive wrapped neatly with instructions attached, you'll miss it entirely. What I'm sharing with you comes from direct experience, tested in the actual mess of transformation, not borrowed from someone else's polished story. Breakthrough moments feel nothing like breakthroughs while they're happening. They feel like disorientation, like watching everything you thought was solid start to dissolve, like losing your grip on what felt real. The people around you will diagnose this as a phase. They'll attempt to guide you back toward who you used to be, because that version didn't threaten their own comfort zones. You're not experiencing a phase. You're undergoing metamorphosis. Metamorphosis unsettles everyone involved, especially the person changing. Most people sense the call to evolve and immediately start negotiating with it. They want to change just enough to feel different without having to release anything. They want transformation that leaves everything intact, growth that avoids discomfort, breakthrough that doesn't require breaking anything. That negotiation keeps them frozen exactly where they stand. You're different. You wouldn't have found your way here otherwise. Something in you has recognized that playing it safe has become the most dangerous choice available. You've started to see that your life, while technically functional, isn't actually alive. It's a performance of living, going through motions without feeling the motion. The universe communicates with people who've reached a frequency where they can actually hear. Not through dramatic mystical experiences, but through ordinary moments that suddenly pulse with meaning. Through conversations that deliver exactly what you needed to hear. Through books that seem to fall into your hands. Through videos that surface in your feed at precisely the right second. Through strangers who say something that unlocks a door you didn't know existed. That's what's occurring right now. This isn't entertainment designed to help you pass time or avoid what's actually happening in your life. This is information being transmitted because you've reached the exact frequency where you can receive it and do something with it. Most people walk around carrying the weight of lives they never consciously chose. They're performing scripts written by other people, following paths laid out by family expectations, cultural pressures, or just the momentum of decisions they made before they understood the consequences. Then they wonder why nothing feels authentic, why success rings hollow, why achievement doesn't deliver the satisfaction they anticipated. You've been feeling that weight, that sense of carrying something that doesn't belong to you, that recognition that the person you present in most situations isn't who you actually are beneath all the adaptation and accommodation, that you've become so skilled at being what others need that you've lost contact with what you actually want. If you've been finding real value in what we're exploring here, I'd genuinely appreciate it if you'd subscribe to the channel. We're building something different, a space where these conversations can go deeper without getting diluted by algorithm games or surface-level content. Your subscription helps us keep creating at this level. Now, let's get back to what's trying to emerge through you. This disconnection isn't your fault. We're all conditioned from early childhood to prioritize fitting in over standing out, to value being liked over being authentic, to choose safety over truth. For a while, that strategy functions. It keeps you employed, maintains relationship stability, keeps things predictable. Eventually, though, the cost becomes unbearable. The energy required to maintain a life that doesn't fit drains everything. That's when the universe starts transmitting stronger signals. These aren't punishments. They're course corrections. Everything that's been feeling forced starts to feel impossible. Everything that used to work stops working. Relationships built on the old version of you start showing strain. Goals that used to motivate you start feeling empty. This isn't a crisis. This is an invitation to stop trying to repair what's wrong with your current life and start constructing a life that actually aligns with who you're becoming. Here's the part that stops most people cold. You can't build the new life while gripping all the pieces of the old one. Something has to be released. Something has to be surrendered. That terrifies people because we've been taught that letting go means losing. What if letting go actually means finding? What if surrender isn't about giving up, but about giving in to what's trying to emerge through you? What if the thing you're most afraid of releasing is exactly what's blocking you from discovering who you really are? The universe is presenting this information now because you're ready for a different conversation with your life. Not the conversation where you're constantly trying to improve what already exists, but the conversation where you're willing to question whether what exists should exist at all. Not managing problems, but creating possibilities. This shift in perspective changes everything. Instead of asking how to make your current situation work better, you start asking what wants to emerge if you stop forcing the current situation to work at all. Instead of trying to heal what's broken, you start building what's whole. Instead of fixing what's wrong, you start creating what's right. People who make this leap from fixing to creating start operating on a completely different frequency. They stop waiting for external validation to make internal changes. They stop asking for permission to become who they already are. They stop negotiating with mediocrity and start demanding excellence from their own choices. When you start operating from this new frequency, your old world starts to feel foreign. Conversations that used to engage you leave you empty. Entertainment that used to satisfy you feels hollow. Routines that used to provide comfort start feeling like prison walls. This isn't depression. This is evolution. You're not losing interest in life. You're losing interest in a life that was never actually yours. Most people panic at this stage. They think something's wrong with them because they can't connect with things that used to bring satisfaction. They try to force themselves back into old patterns, old relationships, old ways of being. They convince themselves they were happier before, even though before was quietly suffocating them. They choose familiar misery over unfamiliar possibility because at least misery feels predictable. You understand that this disconnection isn't a problem to solve. It's a doorway to walk through. The things you're losing interest in serve their purpose. They brought you to this point, but they're like clothes that no longer fit. You can keep trying to squeeze into them, or you can acknowledge that you've outgrown them and find something that actually fits who you're becoming. This is where the real work begins. Not the work of trying harder at things that no longer serve you, but the work of discovering what does serve you. Not forcing old dreams to come alive, but allowing new dreams to be born. Not fixing what's broken, but building what's whole. You don't have to figure it all out before you start. You don't need a complete blueprint before you take the first step. You don't need permission from anyone else to begin honoring what's trying to emerge through you. The path reveals itself as you walk it, never before. The universe has been preparing you for this moment longer than you realize. Every challenge that didn't break you built strength. Every disappointment that didn't destroy you built wisdom. Every loss that didn't end you made you more real. All of it was training for what's coming next. All of it was building the capacity you'd need to handle a life that actually fits. You've been practicing release without even knowing it. Every time you let go of a friendship that had run its course. Every time you walked away from a situation draining your soul. Every time you chose honesty over harmony, authenticity over approval, truth over comfort. You were rehearsing for this bigger release, this more complete surrender to what's trying to unfold. The timing isn't random. You're receiving this information now, in this moment, while your old life feels too tight and your new life hasn't fully formed yet. That's precision. That's the universe delivering exactly what you need exactly when you need it. Not when you think you're ready, but when you actually are ready, even if ready feels terrifying. Most people will encounter these ideas and find them interesting. They'll agree with the concepts, maybe even save this to revisit later. Then they'll return to familiar patterns, comfortable routines, predictable problems. Information without action becomes entertainment. The universe doesn't deliver breakthrough information for entertainment purposes. You're different. You feel the truth in these words viscerally, not just intellectually. Something inside you is responding, recognizing, remembering what it feels like to be fully alive instead of just adequately functional. Something inside you is saying yes to what's trying to emerge, even if you don't know what that looks like yet. This is your moment. Not tomorrow when conditions improve. Not when you have more clarity or courage or resources. Now, while the window is open, while the frequency is aligned, while the universe is showing you exactly what you need to see to take the next step into who you're meant to become. The question isn't whether you're ready. The question is whether you're willing. Willing to trust what's trying to unfold. Willing to release what no longer serves. Willing to step into uncertainty because certainty has become the most uncertain thing of all. Willing to disappoint some people in order to stop disappointing yourself. The people who created real change didn't wait for perfect circumstances. They recognized the signal when it came through clearly and acted before the noise returned. These windows of clarity, these moments of perfect alignment between what you know and what you're ready to do, they close. Not as punishment, but because energy moves. Frequencies shift. What's available to you right now might not be available next month. You've probably experienced this before in smaller ways. That business idea that felt crystal clear, but you waited to research it more and someone else launched it first. That conversation you knew you needed to have, but postponed until the other person moved on. That opportunity that felt perfect, but you hesitated until it disappeared. The universe wasn't being cruel. It was showing you how readiness works. It arrives. It delivers. It moves on. Right now, you're in the delivery phase. Everything that's been building inside you, all that restlessness and dissatisfaction and quiet knowing that something needs to shift, it's reached the point where it can't be ignored anymore. Your system is rejecting what doesn't fit. Your intuition is getting louder than your fear. Your authentic self is tired of being managed by your survival self. Most people make the mistake that keeps them stuck for years at this exact point. They think they need to see the whole staircase before they take the first step. They want guarantees about outcomes before they're willing to make changes. They want to know exactly how the story ends before they're willing to turn the page. That need for certainty becomes the very thing that ensures nothing changes. The universe doesn't operate on that timeline. It doesn't show you the complete picture because complete pictures create complete paralysis. Instead, it shows you just enough to take the next step. Just enough to make the next decision. Just enough to release the next thing that's ready to go. As you move, as you act, as you trust, more gets revealed. Not before, during. The path doesn't appear before you walk it. The clarity doesn't arrive before you commit. The support doesn't show up before you step forward. You have to move first, then the universe moves with you. Before we go further, I want to ask something. If these ideas are resonating with you, if you're feeling that shift happening inside, please subscribe. Not just to support what we're doing here, though that matters. Subscribe because you'll want to continue this conversation. We're going deeper into these territories in upcoming content, and the people who stay connected to this work are the ones who actually transform. Please hit that subscribe button. All right, let's bring this home. The window is open right now, but it won't stay open forever. You felt something shift while absorbing this, didn't you? That recognition, that knowing, that quiet yes rising from somewhere deeper than your thoughts. This wasn't just content you stumbled across. This was information delivered at exactly the right frequency for exactly the right moment in your evolution. The question now isn't what you learned. The question is what you're going to do with what you already know. You've been waiting for a sign, and this is it. Not a mystical symbol or a dramatic event, but this moment of clarity where everything suddenly makes sense. Where you can see that the discomfort you've been feeling isn't something wrong with you, but something right trying to break through. Where you recognize that the old structures crumbling around you aren't failures, but foundations being cleared for what you're building next. The people in your life who don't understand what you're going through, they can't see what you see. They're still operating from the old frequency, the one you're leaving behind. Their confusion isn't a reflection of your path. It's confirmation that you're actually moving. Your authentic self has been sending you signals for months, maybe years. The boredom that settles in during activities that used to excite you. The resistance you feel toward commitments that once felt meaningful. The way your body tenses in certain environments. The way your energy drains around certain people. The way your mind wanders during conversations that should engage you. These aren't character flaws. These are your internal navigation system telling you that you've outgrown where you are. That it's time to trust what's pulling you forward instead of forcing yourself to fit where you no longer belong. The universe has orchestrated everything to bring you to this exact moment. The failures that devastated you taught you resilience. The betrayals that broke your heart taught you discernment. The losses that emptied you taught you what actually matters. None of it was random. All of it was preparation. You've been building the strength, the wisdom, the clarity you need to handle what's coming. You've been developing the capacity to hold a bigger life, a truer life, a life that doesn't require you to shrink or perform or pretend. What's emerging through you wants to be born. It's been gestating beneath the surface, waiting for you to create space for it. That space only opens when you stop clutching what no longer serves you. When you stop trying to make broken things work. When you stop investing energy in maintaining structures that were never built to hold who you're becoming. The fear you feel when you think about letting go isn't a warning that you're making a mistake. It's the friction of transformation. It's your old self trying to maintain control. It's your comfort zone fighting for survival. That fear is evidence that you're on the right path, not the wrong one. Everything you need is already inside you. The courage you think you lack is there, buried under years of conditioning that taught you to doubt yourself. The clarity you think you need is there, obscured by noise and other people's opinions. The strength you think you're missing is there, proven by everything you've already survived. You don't need to become someone else. You need to stop being someone else. You need to release the performance and remember who you actually are beneath all the adaptation. The window is closing. You can feel it. That sense of urgency that brought you here, that kept you engaged through every word of this. That's the universe telling you that this moment matters, that what you do next matters, that the choice you make in the hours and days following this will determine whether you step into what's waiting for you or watch another opportunity dissolve. You've watched opportunities dissolve before. You know what that feels like? The regret that settles in. The wondering what might have happened if you'd been braver. The slow resignation that creeps in when you realize you chose safety over truth again. This time can be different. This time you can honor what you know instead of arguing with it. This time you can trust what's pulling you forward instead of letting fear pull you back. This time you can take the step before the moment passes. Because it will pass. That's not a threat. That's just how energy works. Windows open and windows close. Frequencies align and frequencies shift. The universe presents what you need when you need it, but it doesn't force you to receive it. It offers. It delivers. It moves on. You're standing at the edge of something. You can feel it. The old life behind you that no longer fits. The new life ahead of you that hasn't fully formed. The space between where transformation happens. This is the space most people can't tolerate. They retreat back to what's familiar because uncertainty feels unbearable. They convince themselves they were wrong, that nothing needs to change, that they can make the old patterns work if they just try harder. Then they spend years wondering why they feel so empty, so restless, so disconnected from what matters. You don't have to wonder. You already know. You've known for a while now. The knowing has been growing louder, more insistent, impossible to ignore. That knowing is your truth trying to live through you. It won't be silenced anymore. It won't be managed or minimized or postponed. It's demanding your attention, demanding your action, demanding that you finally honor what's real instead of what's comfortable. The universe is showing you this once. Not because it's withholding some infinite reservoir of opportunities, but because this specific moment, this specific frequency, this specific alignment only happens once. Tomorrow you'll be different. The circumstances will be different. The window will be different. What's available to you right now might not be available later. Act now while the clarity is sharp, while the truth is undeniable, while you can still feel the yes rising inside you. Take the step. Make the choice. Release what needs releasing. Trust what needs trusting. Begin what needs beginning. The universe has delivered. Now it's your turn to receive.